Hello, Lynx Players family. It's Chris Herman, Southwest Region Director. I'm here today to introduce a three-part series where we're interviewing Tom Whitney. Tom's got a great story and lots to share. We interviewed over 45 minutes, so some of the videos might end a little bit shorter and not have a quick transition, but I wanted to let you know this is really great stuff. Tom's a friend that I've known since junior high school. Watched him grow up through golf. He and his brother Bob and I met during a junior high church table where we were just teaching kids how to understand who Jesus was. I've watched Tom grow up. He's got 4 kids. He's got a lovely wife, living in Texas now, and just a great guy. You're gonna really enjoy it. Tom spent his years serving in the Air Force, going to an underground missile bunker. So he was one of the guys that was able to launch a missile for us, protecting our country, and thankfully never had to. Tom's got a great story, and he's going to tell his story today about what it took to trust what God had for him and his plan for him to achieve the dream he really had and the gifting he thought he really was called to use, and how he's used that platform. So without further ado, I'm going to turn over the video to the interview and let you guys see what Tom Whitney is all about. Have a great day, and we'll be back for our next video.
You know, I had felt pretty confident that golf was my calling, and I had agreed to serve 5 years in the Air Force. That's the minimum service payback when you graduate from any military academy. And but there are some programs to separate early, and one of those programs is for professional athletes. It's more directed towards contract sports, so baseball, football, basketball. And we have athletes that have gotten approved in all of those arenas. But I was the first golfer to ever try through the program that was set up. And yeah, it was a long 2-year journey for me to separate from the Air Force. I applied 2 times under the professional athlete waiver, and yeah, this looking back on this whole journey, God was just kind of waiting for me to be ready to kind of give up some things to him. But I applied the first time, everything looked good, and I was kind of checking in on the status of it at every person's desk, and my direct supervisors and up, they all recommended approval. So I have a flight commander, squadron commander, group commander, wing commander, and then it exits the base and goes higher up. And all of those individuals recommended approval. Tom Whitney can leave the Air Force and go serve in a different capacity. And then it gets disapproved for, a clerical error or something I filled out wrong, whatever the case. So then I waited a couple more months and applied a second time under the same program. And again, everyone's recommending, yes, it's a good idea. I'm not hurting the unit or Manning by leaving. And get to go through this roller coaster again of, oh, it's going to happen for sure. All arrows are pointed towards yes. And then again, at the last minute, it gets turned down for whatever reason. So then I applied a third time under a different Air Force program. At that current time, they were shrinking budgets, shrinking Manning. So instead of going the pro athlete route, I just went, hey, you guys are looking to let people go early. I'm going to apply for that.
Wow.
And the first time applying under that program, again, by me leaving, it didn't affect Manning or my unit or put any constraints on them. So everyone in my chain of command recommended yes. And here we go, a third time, looking good. I check in, of course, emails, phone calls, making sure it's progressing, because I think I'm smarter than the guys handling it, and kind of controlling the whole process, white knuckling, making sure it's moving forward.
Yep.
And at the very last level, it gets turned down again. Before I applied a fourth time, I was listening to Christian radio in my car, and some lady had lost her job, and she was calling in, and she was sharing with her journey that she realized God was bigger than her job, her employer. If he wanted her in that position, in that job, she would still be working there. And it was a pretty powerful realization to me, because I don't think at any point I had let God in to the whole process. I mean, maybe I prayed a couple times, but every time I got rejected, it was woe is me. The world is caving in. What is the future going to look like? And there was no peace. There was just wondering and anger and frustration. And it was listening to that lady speak
Uh-huh.
that, oh my gosh, if God wants me out of the Air Force, he'll get me out. If all of those rejections didn't make sense, it was probably because he was in control and orchestrating it, and I couldn't understand why at the time. And so I distinctly remember praying, Lord, I'm gonna give up control of this whole process and finally trust in your timing. And if it makes sense, if it's your will for me, great. If not, we'll move forward and see what that looks like. So I apply a fourth time, near and around the 2 year mark of me in this whole process. And by that time, because the program had been in place to shrink the budget and cut manning for quite a while now, well, they had hit their numbers. So now, instead of having too many missile operators, they had too few. And
Oh, geez.
so my flight commander, squadron commander, group commander, wing commander all recommended disapproval, because the fact of the matter was, hey, Tom, sorry, but we now don't have enough people, so we can't justify letting you go early. But all they can do is recommend, and then it goes up to the highest level. By this point, I'm thinking, okay, obviously it's not going to happen this time. No big deal. Got my answer. Well, a couple months later, I open up an email that says, congratulations, your separation date is in, whatever, 7 days, 14 days, you have been approved. Essentially good luck. So, and, is again, even that answer defies all logic. I have all of my supervisors and bosses saying, hey, no, we need this guy, and it gets approved.
Yeah.
And, that's just one of the pillars in my life where God was making it very clear and apparent that he's in control of all of this. He's orchestrating it all. And I need to be willing to let him be the playwright and me just play my role and not the other way around.